Hello friends, my name is Sourav and welcome to my channel Travellian Sourav. I'm a travel industry professional, however, I do not intend to discuss travel today. Rather, I want to discuss the most burning issue that our country is facing right now, and that is COVID 19's second wave and the lack of oxygen and medical equipment. Before I start, I have a quick question to everyone who comes across this video, and that is, do you know what is the current mortality rate due to COVID 19? If you have the answer, please comment it in the comment box. Agreed that there has been an upsurge of COVID cases of recently. However, not all deaths are due to COVID. Majority of us are dying due to panic attacks and lack of knowledge. Even the social media, be it YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., wherever you go, it is flooded with all demotivating information about the deaths of family members, friends, lack of oxygen, lack of hospital beds, lack of medicines, and so on and so forth. For some time, I request, rather beg, all users of social media platforms not to share your grief and grievances on the social media, as you never know who comes across your post and may get demotivated. And if this demotivated person gets infected to COVID, or if he's already a COVID patient, he or she is surely going to have a panic attack. So it is very important to keep every single person around us motivated. Now, the question is how to stay motivated. The first thing is to trust yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else would believe in you. Second thing is that you need to keep going, irrespective of the situation. Remember the great saying, God helps them who helps themselves. And the most important thing to keep ourselves motivated is to enjoy the little things. Still not sure how to keep yourself motivated? Try some YouTube channels that I normally follow. If you love to know about new places, new culture, new people, follow Nas Daily, Dear Eileen, or Project Nightfall. All three of them are equally good. If you're a science freak or you love space technology, please go through What If and Rahasya TV. And if you love to have a lighter mood and to listen to some jokes, please visit Mirchi Murga and RJ Praveen. As I said earlier, that we lack knowledge. So to keep ourselves motivated, we also need to understand what exactly COVID 19 is. When do we exactly need an oxygen concentrator or an oxygen cylinder or an ICU ventilator? We all know that the medical system has collapsed and we were not prepared for this wave. However, playing the blame game to the doctors or the administration or the government at this time would not work. Please understand, they are humans too. And of course, do not follow treatment shared on social media on your own. They can be dangerous and fatal. Every person has a different immunity level, different lifestyle, hence, you should always refer a doctor before taking your med. Now, let's understand what is COVID 19. COVID 19 is not a normal disease. It is a weird disease with two phases, the first 6 days and the second 6 days. Most of the death cases are normally in the second 6 days, which means the first 6 days are not lethal. And if we can timely identify the infection, we might not have to go through the oxygen phase. Hence, it is very important that we consult a doctor the moment we develop symptoms of COVID 19. In the first 6 days, we normally get mild fever with body temperature around 9900 degrees, and by the third or the fourth day, the fever is completely gone, and we think that we are fine and we don't consult a doctor. This is where we make a mistake. Possibly, you are in the first 6 days of COVID infection, and this can be a mild one. Hence, always consult a doctor, and if the doctor recommends, go for a COVID test. And in case you're tested positive with COVID 19, please do not panic. At the moment you panic, you would develop shallow breathing, which in turn would drop your oxygen levels. and you would get more panic. During this time, you just need to be careful, monitor your diet, and keep yourself hydrated. The moment you enter the second phase, that is the sixth or the seventh day, you have to be very careful for next 7 days, as this is where your oxygen level would start dropping. Hence, monitoring your oxygen level is critical here. However, as I have been stating, do not panic, just follow your doctor, as this is when most likely your doctor would put you on steroids and blood thinners. Just to reiterate, do not take meds circulated on Facebook or WhatsApp universities on your own, as steroids can be dangerous if taken without proper consultation. Hope you had a fair and a basic idea of the disease and how it works. Now, you would be thinking, how can we know that we need to consult a doctor? So, the very first thing is not to ignore any of the slightest symptoms of COVID 19 like fever, dry cough, fatigue, sore throats, difficulty in breathing, and etc. And in case you have any of these, start monitoring your oxygen concentration level in your blood. Now, to do that, we all know about the device called oximeter. However, most of us don't know the correct procedure to use it. Firstly, we need to rest our active hand on a firm surface. Means if you're a left-handed, it has to be your right hand, and if it's left-handed, it has to be your left hand. Then use your middle finger to monitor your oxygen concentration level. Once done, take a walk for 6 minutes and again monitor your oxygen concentration level. If the difference between both the reading is 5% or more, that means your lungs are affected and you need an immediate doctor consultation. So till now, I believe you have a fair idea about what is COVID-19 and how can you identify it at a preliminary stage. In case you have any further questions, please drop your questions in the comment box and I would try to answer them. Moving forward, we all know that the medical equipments have vanished from the market, and these days it is being sold in the black market as a very high inflated price. However, most of us don't know which equipment is needed at what time and what would exactly help the patient. Here again, before buying or renting an equipment, it is advisable to consult a doctor. So here we will discuss the basic difference between an oxygen concentrator, oxygen cylinder or liquid medical oxygen and ICU ventilator. So first we need to understand the composition of air. Atmospheric air consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 1% of other gases. So when we breathe air, it is our lungs which filters and segregates 21% of oxygen from the air and makes only 4% of it available for our breathing. Now, in case of a COVID infected person, the lungs cannot effectively do the filtration and segregation of oxygen from the atmospheric air, and hence we need oxygen concentrator, oxygen cylinder, or an ICU ventilator depending on the severity of the infection in the lungs. Now, let's talk about oxygen concentrator. Oxygen concentrator offers 90 to 95% of pure oxygen at a low pressure, and it can only offer 5 to 10 liters of oxygen per minute. The best part of the device is it runs on electricity or battery and can offer oxygen 24/7. On the contrary, a severely affected COVID patient needs 40 to 50 liters of oxygen per minute at a high pressure. Hence, it is not very effective for a severely affected COVID patient. Let me tell you an interesting fact. Oxygen concentrators works on pressure swing absorption technology, generally known as PSAs. The government has already initiated plans to set up PSA plants in the hospital. By the way, did you know that the automobile industry, petrol pump and all packed food companies which produces chips and namkeens normally have their own PSA plant? The difference is that they use this PSA plant to secure nitrogen from the air. The automobile industry, nitrogen is used to fill up vehicle tires. Similarly, some petrol pumps also have small PSA plants wherein they fill nitrogen in vehicle tires. Even for packed food like chips and namkeens, that we eat contains nitrogen gas in it to keep it fresh, and hence these companies also have nitrogen PSA plants. This slide shows you the working principle of a nitrogen PSA plant, and the exhaust valve that you can see, it releases oxygen and other gases back to the atmosphere after securing nitrogen. Are you curious as to why we are discussing nitrogen PSA plants here? The reason is a nitrogen PSA plant have nitrogen filters in it, which secures nitrogen gas from the atmospheric air and stores it in a tank. Rest other gases are released back in the air. Now, if we replace this nitrogen filter with an oxygen filter, possibly we can use these PSA plants to secure oxygen from the air. These oxygen filters are not complex in nature and are not that expensive in comparison to setting up an entire PSA plant. Wasn't that interesting, folks? The next on the list is oxygen cylinder or liquid medical oxygen. It gives 99% of pure oxygen and can offer 30 to 40 liters of oxygen per minute at a high pressure. In this case also, the patient have to breathe on its own, just like oxygen concentrator. This equipment does not require electricity. However, it needs to be refilled, which is a challenge basis the current situation. The major problem for this oxygen is its transportation. As to maintain oxygen in liquid state, it needs a temperature of 185 degrees, and hence they are transported in a special container named cryogenic containers. The sad part is that to meet the current demand, our infrastructure does not have sufficient cryogenic containers. The last on the list is ICU ventilator. It gives 99% of pure oxygen and can offer 30 to 40 liters of oxygen per minute. And it offers oxygen at a high pressure. And the best part of this equipment is that the patient does not have to breathe on its own. However, it is very expensive and not everyone can afford it. In this case, the patient do not have to breathe on its own, as a tube is being pushed from the mouth to the patient's trachea and is left just before the lungs, wherein the ventilator pushes oxygen at a high pressure and pulls it back as well. The device again offers 99% of pure oxygen, and this is the last resort to save the patient. Hope now you have some understanding about COVID, about different oxygen devices, and about the realistic situation that we are currently facing. Hence, I request every citizen of India to understand a simple fact that what we have is what we have. The disease is a weird disease and nobody was prepared for it. Hence, I urge everybody to stop blaming the government, stop blaming the administration, and stop blaming the hospitals. They are all humans, and most importantly, they have families like us, and they are equally susceptible to this weirdo disease. If we have to blame, let's blame it to our own selves. Didn't we celebrated Holi? Didn't we attended social gatherings? Did we maintain social distancing? Did we follow sanitization protocols? Did we wear masks at all times whenever we moved out? If you still want to blame it to the black marketing guys. They created the panicked India. Think of it. Today we are not actually worried about COVID. Rather, what we are worried about is what happens in case we get affected with COVID. Since we all know there is either no oxygen in the market, or in case we get it for a hefty amount. Not everyone can afford it. Think of it. At least the best that we can do is to not share our griefs and grievances on social media. Share something positive and save someone from getting panic attack. Now that's all for today. Hope I was able to clear some of your doubts, if not all. If you liked the information, request you to please like and subscribe to my channel. Please do not forget to share it, as the more we share, possibly we can save someone from getting panic attack. Stay healthy, stay safe, and most importantly, stay motivated and keep motivating.